King Ray Ray in this bitch. Ha! What's good? What's good, homies? It's your man, King Ray Ray. Let's get ready to do this again, man. Appreciate everybody being in the joint, man. GC, what up, my brother? Salute to you. Good to see you in the building. Don P, what up? LFG, what's good, brother? Dead Miles, I see you, brother. Peace to you. Reg Horton, what up, bro? Let's get it, people. Just a couple of minutes to slide up in here, man. Kid Famous, what's up, man? Good to see you in the joint. KG, what up, King George? Salute to you. Let's get the people a little bit to slide up in the joint, man. I know this one is kind of late, but you know, this is how we had to do it, man. Out of town, man, visiting some family right now, man. And, you know, they've been kind enough to keep it down while I get it in. Brown Hornet 1975, appreciate the $10 super chat, brother. Brother say, commissary for the good doc, BOA. No doubt, brother. I appreciate that, bro. Yo, man, the doctor, BOA, will be out of YouTube jail in 2 more days, man. If they process him out in time, he's scheduled to be released on the 17th, which is Monday. So y'all be looking out for that, man. D. Flemings was good, my brother. Good to see you in the joint, man. Working the wrench, man. Prime, what up? Word is Dr. BOA has some great topics and energy, man, for the return of the High Amplitude Show, man. All right, let's go see what we're looking like over here in the live chat, man, over here in the joint. All right. Let's talk about how a functional childhood is responsible for your dysfunctional adulthood. And I know that sounds crazy. You ask yourself, how can a functional childhood contribute to a dysfunctional adulthood? Well, it all depends on what your concept of functional is. And also the environment in which you exist. Rudy Dog, what up, bro? So, first off, let me say this. This is my true view of childhood. Childhood is basically a trap for the gullible among us to be lulled into a sleep state of carefree randomness in word and deed. It is the only time in our lives where everyone around us is genuinely concerned about our well-being and overall happiness. Now that sounds wonderful, doesn't it? It sounds wonderful that as a child, that's the perfect childhood. Everyone around you loves on you and dotes on you and takes care of you and protects you and provides for you and feeds you and clothes you and plays with you and holds you and changes you. That's a wonderful environment, right? Well, how does that transition into adulthood? You see, the validation and appreciation for childhood achievement, from taking our first steps to saying our first words to riding our bicycle with no training wheels for the first time, are greatly over-exaggerated as monumental accomplishments instead of the mere acts of basic human development they really are. Like, does a child really deserve accolades for taking steps? Unless there's some physical or mental ailment, all children take steps. And they roughly take steps around the same time frame. But a child is ooh and odd and elevated for doing something normal. Normal, I tell you. And yeah, there's some people that are going to feel some kind of way about this, but I say to you, who really cares? No, I sure don't. What we live in is a participation trophy society. I say again, a participation trophy society where everybody gets a trophy. In childhood, everybody gets a trophy. And it's just not realistic. It's not a realistic way of teaching a young child what's to come in the world. You see, saying words, everyone says words at some point, except unless you have one of these disabilities. But everyone else, the rest of us, we say words. Not some of us, all of us. At a certain point, we start to talk. Riding your bike without training wheels for the first time, at some point, you just try it and you realize you can ride without them. But your mom has no need to be hollering Hercules, Hercules, Hercules. It's just an accomplishment, just a basic part of human development. Tying your shoe, just a basic part of human development. Using a bathroom on your own, just a basic part of human development. It is no big deal to walk, talk, and use the bathroom. It's simple. So that validation appreciation for those childhood achievements is one of the worst things that can ever happen to a child, because it leads you down a wormhole that has you totally distraught and feeling worthless as an adult. You see, unbeknownst to us, these clamoring adults around us who keep giving us these accolades for these simplistic things that we accomplish, they've all been inducted into the world-renowned validate and appreciate everyone but myself club. See, all of this changes by the time you become an adult. When you become an adult, man, people don't care if you, man, think about this. I remember Richard Branson, the guy who owned, I think he owned, now that was Tommy Mottola that owned Sony. I can't remember what Richard Branson, but y'all know who Richard Branson is. Billionaire Richard Branson. He flew around the world in a hot air balloon, I believe. No one gave a damn. No one cares about you flying around the world in a damn hot air balloon, dog. You just seem like a rich cat that's got too much money. But you have to find ways to make yourself relevant, because no one gives a damn about what you do once you become an adult. Think about this, especially if you're in somewhere like New York or one of the major cities. Think about how many people you see on your morning commute. Think about how the sea of endless faces, endless nameless faces you see on your morning commute. If someone passes gas in the elevator, you can look at everybody in there and you can't call anybody by name. You can't say, Larry, did you do that? And now, once you get to your workplace, you can. But I mean, just randomly. You can say, hey, Larry, did you do that? Sarah, what's that you? Wait a minute. Tanya, did you do that? Yo, come on, D. Was that you, man? No. You're in the elevator just like all the other strangers, wondering which one of these strangers is nasty enough to cut one while we're trapped in this elevator. But it doesn't matter, because you don't matter. They don't matter. In the large scheme of things in this world, you don't matter. Out of all the people you meet in your life, think about this. Think about all the people you meet in your life. Think about how popular Let's think about all the millions of people that the great outpouring of support for Vanessa Bryant. How many of those people you think she actually knows? How many of those people you think she actually knows? The people that are sitting around debating about it. How many of those people that debate about it you think Kobe knew or Vanessa knows? Anything. People debating about Gayle King right now. How many people do you think Gayle King knows? I mean, just random people out here having this debate about it. How many of these people you think President Trump knows? People talk as adults. People create energy and drama as an adult because they're irrelevant and they want to create a relevance for themselves. And why do people have such a hard time with it? Because childhood teaches you that the participation trophy is yours. All you have to do is show up and you get a trophy just like everybody else. Yeah, Virgin Airlines, Virgin Music, Virgin Airlines. Yeah, that's it, Rudy. Good looking out, man. You see, now, of course, they don't want to live vicariously through you. They don't have the desire to learn the basic toddler development skills again. They don't want to how to learn how to walk and talk and hold their own food and feed themselves without making a terrible mess and bathe themselves. They don't want to know how to learn all that again. They don't know how to learn to count to 10 again and say their ABC song. But there is something even more sinister at play here. They are living vicariously through you as a child to achieve the thrill of satisfactory personal achievement. We go out and we buy all of these cars and these homes because we know that we don't matter. So we start to matter externally because the one thing you're not taught as a child is to develop an intestinal fortitude, is to develop an internal foundation for your external self. We've been taught that what you see is what you get, which is crazy as hell, because then we'll turn around and say beauty is in the eye of the beholder. But then we'll turn around and say don't judge a book by its cover. Now, if I tell you don't judge a book by its cover, and then I tell you, hey, what you see is what you get, seems like I should judge the damn book by the cover. These are the idiotic types of things that we discuss, that we hear, that we banter about back and forth among ourselves, which make absolutely no sense at all. Adults live vicariously through children to achieve the thrill of satisfactory personal achievement because there is no satisfactory personal achievement for the majority of adults. That's why sports is so popular, because the majority of men have no satisfactory thrill of personal achievement. They have no thrill of satisfactory personal achievement. And so they watch other men who do have the thrill of satisfactory personal achievement. They want to watch LeBron try to chase MJ down, or he's already past MJ. They want to see LeBron chase Kareem down and see if he's going to be able to catch Kareem as the all-time leading scorer. They want to see who can validate themselves by showcasing their skill and proving their value, because we at heart, ourselves as men, have a hard time manufacturing value in our lives. You give the most men some money who's never had money, first thing they do is dress themselves up and doll themselves up and create a caricature of themselves, draped in a bunch of overly priced diamonds and jewelry and all of that. Why? Not because they internally, instinctively want that stuff. It's because they want to validate themselves. They tell us all the time, you got to separate yourself from everyone else. But it's always a physical separation. It's never a mental, emotional, spiritual separation. You see, after a certain point in our younger years, we will soon find out, as our parents did, as the adults did, that adulthood brings a point where no one gives a damn about what you do, say, think, feel, or believe in. No one gives a damn. And that's a hard pill to swallow. It is such a culture shock to some folks, man, that they simply can't cope and become lifelong fuck ups. They just become lifelong failures. And as we know, The only failure is not trying. So these people give up on life. Some people, it's such a culture shock. They got so many participation trophies that when they get out in the real world and realize that you actually got to earn your damn trophy, they give up. They say to hell with it. I don't know how to earn no damn trophy. I never learned that. I thought the trophy came with me just showing up. Sun Low, appreciate the $5 super chat, brother. See, these are the type of things, man, that we have to discuss because these are the type of things that we have to know. Oh, look at my baby doing so much, blah, blah, blah. That's why, and that's why it affects the man who doesn't have his father around more. You grow up in a single mother home, all you get is accolades. You get accolades and abuse. You either get one or the other or both. But that's all you get. You get promoted. Think about how damaging it is for a woman to tell her 5-year-old son that you're the man of the house now. Now, as a beta male simp mangina, you may think that's a great thing. Man, we're talking about a 5-year-old. A 5-year-old shouldn't be thinking about anything about being a man of anything. That kid should be thinking about loving his life, learning the things that a 5-year-old should be learning, not the things that a 35-year-old should know. When they call a little boy 1 or 2 years old, they call him a grown man. So he grows up believing that even though he has no responsibility, doesn't take care of himself, doesn't take care of anyone else, doesn't provide for himself, doesn't do any of those things, he grows up feeling like he's a man, kind of like Jody off Baby Boy. His mama told him, be a man. He said, I am a man. Boy sitting at home in his mama's house making model cars and model bikes and all of these types of things, man. With no source of income in the beginning. No car, driving his girl car. Straight scrub life, bruh. Straight scrub life. See, you got to keep this in mind as well, man. At some point between adolescence and true independence, and by true independence, I mean where you're functioning in your own space and all the people you used to rely on, you don't have to rely on them anymore at all. Between those 2 points, we arrive at the startling conclusion that we are but a small, infinitesimal blip on the huge radar of the world. As much as you matter to your family, you don't matter to anyone in Seattle, Washington, unless you live in Seattle, Washington. If you live in New York, I don't care how popular you are amongst your people, you don't matter at all to the people in Dallas. You see what I'm saying? You could be, listen, man, let's take it a step farther. Let's go higher than that. You could be one of the most popular rap artists in the United States. And people in Europe don't know who the hell you are. It's the same thing with some of the acts over there. Some of the most popular UK rappers, guess what? You ain't never heard of them. But they over there going double platinum in Europe. But you ain't never heard of them. Because the truth of the matter, and this ain't gonna get good. This ain't finna turn into no feel-good story. The truth of the matter is the overwhelming majority of us don't matter. The overwhelming majority of us just don't matter in the large scheme of things. But that's okay because majority rules. That's something that we all have to deal with, but that's something that we're all not equipped for because we were told as children that if you show up, the same MVP trophy that the MVP gets, you get the same trophy. We're not taught that his trophy is better because he's the MVP. We're taught that all trophies are the same. We're taught that all women are the same. We're talking that all clothes are the same. We're talking about all children are the same. We're told that all religions are the same. You see what I'm saying? When in reality, nothing could be further from the truth. Nothing could be further from the truth. See, You got to think about this. Childhood did not prepare you for adulthood. Your parents have you so ill prepared for adulthood that you should just stay the child. You can't navigate this. You can't navigate this. You're just stuck in it. Now, on the rare occasion, there are those of us whose parents did start off from her. And this is basically for Western civilization. You go to some of these other cultures, especially some of these African cultures, man, ain't nobody, the majority of these boys, man, ain't in no damn school when they get 13, 14 years old, man. They already off in the family business, already contributing to their own lives, to their own well-being. Why? Because, and why do we have a problem with that? Because here in the US, we feel like that you should just traipse around and do whatever the hell you want to do until you're 18 years old. Just straight goof off. Don't make no improvements on who you are. Because once you get to high school, man, you don't learn anything that's going to be beneficial to you in the rest of your life. Everything you need to know education wise to actually exist in this world and be a success, unless you have some degree path. Without that, though, you could go into the family business and keep it booming with and even grow it with just eighth grade education. After that, everything else you learn, man, is just a bunch of bull. Let's just be honest with you, it's just a bunch of bull. Something to keep you occupied during the most formative years of your life. Between 14 and 18, man, those are the most formative years of your young adult life. You're already a young adult. You're already thinking like a young adult, feeling like a young adult. Halfway through those years, you can legally drive in most areas. So now here you are, you can drive, and every day, instead of going trying to make a life and figuring out what you're going to do, you go into the same school campus. Once you can drive, it's time for you to start stretching out and going places, making moves, man, in your life. You stay there, you waste that time, and let me tell you something. You don't start feeling like you're running out of time at 30 or 40 or 50 or 60. You start feeling like you're running out of time at 18 when it's time to graduate high school. You know why? Because that's the biggest change of your life. Honestly, the biggest transition period of your life is from school to adult life. Whether you come out in high school or you come out, you go to college, whenever you come out of the education process, that's the biggest culture shock you'll ever have. Because for one thing, you got a boatload of time on your hands that you used to spend in class and on class work. You don't live on the campus anymore. So you realize all the while you're going through school, there are thousands of people around you. Think about this. From the time you're in kindergarten, when you're in K5, there are or K4, K3, depending on where you are. My son started in K3. When once you're done with that, you're lonely as hell. You go from being on a college campus where everybody is hustling trying to get it to dealing with the personalities at a job of people who are already miserable as hell because they realize that there are no participation trophies on this level of life. They realize that you don't get nothing if you don't do nothing. You don't just get to show up and leave with the hardware. Runner up doesn't even give you any trophy. Nobody will care. Listen, man, and this is real talk. And this is some real talk. This time next year, the majority of us won't be thinking about Kobe Bryant. This guy's famous. The majority of us will have moved on with our lives. We can't spend the rest of our lives worrying about Kobe. That's his family can. They have a personal relationship with him. They know him. They understand. There's a void in their lives. There's no void in our lives. He was already done playing ball. So the void is in the people that he knew personally lives, people that he was in business with lives. But the rest of us, man, we're not gonna feel this way about this thing by then. That's just the reality of it. And this ain't me pouring no salt on the brother and nothing like that. This is everybody. Once you kick the bucket, man, like people are just not gonna really be concerned about you. And KG, that man, listen, bro, that's a whole nother stream right there. For real. See, what you got to think about this, man. Being another face in a sea of unknown faces is not what a participation trophy childhood prepares us for. That's not what the participation trophy childhood prepares us for. It prepares us for disappointment. It prepares us for a false sense of entitlement. It prepares us for a false sense of self-worth. I tell you something else, and this is gonna hurt some people right here, man. This is gonna hurt some people. And man, boy, and I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but not really. I actually love to be the bearer of bad news. Love to be the bearer of good news too, but bad news feels good. I'm gonna tell you like this, man. Y'all bear with me here. I'm gonna tell y'all like this, man. We all learn two valuable, life-altering lessons throughout the process of going from childhood to adolescence to teen to young adulthood to full-fledged adulthood. We learn two valuable lessons that we all have to keep in mind at all times. The first, only the strong survive, or even survival of the fittest. Only the strong survive / survival of the fittest. Only the strong survive. It didn't say mostly, only the strong survive. Only the strong survive. That's the reality of it. The second lesson is only the greats are acknowledged. Only the greats are acknowledged, man. Only the greats. There were many, many civil rights activists, but only the greats are mentioned. There have been many, many amazing ball players, but only the greats are mentioned. There have been many amazing, amazing music artists, rap music, pop music, R&B music, country music. There's been millions of them, but only the greats get acknowledged. So if you're not one of the greats, you should sit down, not expect a trophy, not expect a ribbon, and continue to be a slave to someone else's desires for their life that they have somehow figured out how to live vicariously through you in order to pursue. There are no participation trophies in real life, brothers. There are no participation trophies in real life. So if you're looking for one, I don't know what to tell you. Now, what's the key to overcoming this dilemma of participation trophy childhood? The key to overcoming this dilemma of lack of importance in the world is to be more important to your damn self. You got to accept the fact that you ain't going to be important in the world unless you do something great. If you don't do something great, if you don't affect a lot of people's lives, if you just affect the people around you in a very positive manner, you're going to be loved and respected and well liked. But in order to get a trophy, you have to be doing things on a much larger scale. That's just the reality of it. When we talk about some of the best point guards to ever play the game, there are some guys who we saw flashes of who don't even get mentioned in the category. They just don't get mentioned. One player comes to mind, Penny Hardaway. Penny Hardaway was a terrific player when he was young in the league, man. Shaq leaving in those injuries got the best of him, man. People don't even mention Penny when they talk about the best point guards ever. You know why? Because as good as he was, he didn't have the consistency or longevity to be called one of the greats. AI, on the other hand, did. See what I'm saying? So we have to keep in mind, man, that that's just the way. This isn't bad. It isn't bad, but this is just the way the world is. It's kind of like female nature. Female nature isn't bad. It's just the way they are. See, you are the only one, and this is real talk, brothers. You are the only one who truly gives a damn about the person you are. Everyone else gives a damn about the person you present yourself as. But you're the only one who gives a damn about who you are to the core of your being. I promise you no one else does, because no one else knows. No matter how long you with a woman, she'll never know who you are at the core of your being. Your parents will never know who you are at the core of your being. See, self-love is the only love that stands the test of time. A woman can love you, then she can stop loving you. Your children can love you, then they can stop loving you. Your parents can love you, then they can stop loving you. Be perfectly honest with you, they can stop loving you. Everyone can. Your fans can love you, then they can stop loving you. See, because the majority of this stuff isn't love. True love doesn't die. And the only love that I've ever had that didn't die was love of self. That's the only one. You can't kill it and it won't die. See, this is what we got to keep in mind, man. Wanting to be important just because you're alive is as much an adult fantasy as it is a reality for a newborn infant. It's a reality for a newborn infant to want to be important just because they're alive. You are important just because you're alive. People do everything for you because you're important just because you're alive. You're valuable just because you're alive. You're precious just because you're alive. That's crazy for you to expect that as an adult. It's nuts. It's really nuts for you to expect that as an adult. If you think that's gonna happen as an adult, man, you crazy than you look. You see, the more self-sufficient you become, the less you matter to everyone but yourself. Those adults, they need you to need them because they seek validation through that. They get validation through you needing them. That's the only validation that they can get. Most of them don't get validation at the job. They don't get validation wherever else they go. They don't get that type of validation that people seek. And that's what people are doing. When you want to be important just because you're alive, man, you're seeking some type of validation. You want people to acknowledge you when you ain't did shit to be acknowledged. They already looking at something that's more important than you. That's why I tell men when you got to focus on the thing that gives you the blues if you can't do it. The things that then bring you the most excitement. Those are the things you got to focus on, because if you don't, then you end up in a headspace, man, where you really, really believe that there's somebody that's gonna just come around and like you for you. They're not, man. Most people don't like you for you. Most people can't. Most people lost the ability to be able to determine if you're being your true self a long time ago. They just talk about it. But most people lost that ability a long time ago by just accepting the fake. The bottom line is we need to be selfish with our time, our effort, our energy, and our focus. Our own personal endeavors should occupy most of these resources. Your time, effort, energy, and focus, your own personal endeavors should occupy the majority of that. You have a career, you got your finances, you got your physicality, you got your spiritual well-being, you got your mental well-being, you got your offspring, you got maybe some friends, and you got relatives, you got special occasions, and then you got to set up some time for me time. What time do you have to be worrying about other people's expectations, what they expect of you, what you should be doing, what you should be giving, what they want you to do? You don't have time to do none of that. You got too much. You don't have much time left, man. And then I ain't put sleep on here. You got to sleep too. D. Fleming, appreciate the $2 super chat, bro. So you got to focus on the upside of shit instead of having the downside hung around your neck like a virtual albatross, man. You got the trouble always around your neck with a chain, man. But why? Because you don't know how to focus on the upside. When you focus on the downside, when you focus on the underside of a table, man, you gotta be laying on the ground on your back. One of the most vulnerable positions a man can be in. Everything's open. You can get stabbed anywhere. See, this is the thing, man. This is what you got to keep in mind. No one gives a damn about you unless giving a damn about you benefits them. Wasn't gonna stay in here too long, man. Just wanted to drop something up right quick, man, to keep y'all abreast of what's going on, man. We got 2 more days in the wake up, man. We should be back on live, the BOA channel, man, on Monday. When they release me, man, I'll put up a community post, man, so everybody know. D. Flemings, GC, appreciate y'all being in the joint, man. Everybody who came through, man, I appreciate y'all. We gonna head on out of here, man. Don't want to stay in here too long. It's already late as hell. So we gonna head on out, man. Peace. Oh, put God first, keep grinding and growing, my brothers. Now peace. King Ray Ray in this bitch. Ah.